Hello and welcome to Newton Academy's web development course. I'm Adiola Kinwole and I'm thrilled to have you join us. Over the course, we'll be going through everything you need to know about web development. Even if you're a beginner or you are on an intermediate level in the field, this course is designed to take you through from beginner level up to an expert level. Now, before we dive into the technical aspects, let's discuss why web design skills are valuable. In today's digital age, having a strong understanding of web design is crucial for various reasons. First of all, you get very wide range of career opportunities. Whether you're aiming for a career in tech, in design, in marketing, web design skills are highly sought after. Many roles from front-end developer to UX designer, they all specialize on web design principles. Apart from that, web design allows you to express yourself and bring your creative ideas to life. You could have some interesting idea or concept that you want to bring out, and the web design skills would enable you to do so. Also, web design skills allows you to be a business person, as you could be an entrepreneur, or you could own a business where you build websites for other people or businesses. And this is a very lucrative one. Apart from that, web design is a kind of field that is dynamically changing and it involves so many things. You could use that to increase your skills and become much better. So it's definitely seems like web design is the starting point into technology, and the web design skills gives you a breakout into the world of tech. And I would also say that web design is something that everyone should know, as everything is all connected on the internet, on the web, and the knowledge of web design is your first step to actually knowing what the digital and the connected society looks like. Now, in order to effectively build web applications, it is important to understand how your web browser communicates with the web server to receive the web content. This flow is very essential to understand before jumping into building web pages, as we need to understand each and every element that comprises of this flow. The web browser is the starting point, and it's also called the client. And the web server is also called the server, which actually gives the idea of the client-server model. The client-server model is a model that is used to describe the communication between the web browser and a web server and the content that is being received. Now, all the elements in this flow are the client, the server, a request, and a response. The web browser sends a request to the web server to receive content, and that request is being responded with a response, and that response containing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript information is sent back to the client or the web server, and then you see whatever you see on the screen. This process is what's described as the client-server model. Now, the rendering process is a very nifty one, as your web browser, whether Chrome or Safari or Firefox, contains a special application within it called a DOM. The DOM is the layer that allows web content to be displayed or to be represented on the page. Every browser contains a DOM engine that allows web content to be resolved and displayed the way they do. And this tells us that web always specializes with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript information. And it is very paramount to understand these things before you can actually build web pages. Now, let's take a quick look at the three fundamental technologies in web development. We already ascertained that HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are the major libraries, but what exactly are these elements? HTML is also known as hypertext markup language, and it's the foundation of any web page. It provides the building block and the structure of which content would be displayed on the web page. With elements like headings, paragraphs, they all ensure that your web contents are structured in a manner that you see them. Now, apart from the HTML, we also have the CSS. The CSS is what gives life to the page, is what gives the colors, is what gives the visual representation to look as interesting as they do. The styles it gives would appropriate a very interesting look to what you find on the page. CSS is known as cascading style sheets, and as the name implies, you actually apply styling to your web page. Now, lastly, JavaScript. JavaScript adds interactivity to your page. JavaScript is what gives all the events and actions and very interesting clicks on clicks and form submissions and all that. This is what adds interactivity and actions to your page to make a more engaging and more interactive experience. And in this course, we'll start from the HTML and then we'll dive down into CSS and lastly conclude in JavaScript. And all of this is going to help you get started. Now, we want to go into an aspect that explains and things that you need to have in your computer before you could start building web pages. Now, first of all, you need to have your IDE, also known as Integrated Development Environment. Your IDE is a piece of software that allows you to write code. But in most cases, we don't really require the use of an IDE or an extensive application. You could make use of a text editor, or you could make use of a ordinary editor to do this. An ordinary editor like the one that comes with your Windows computer called Notepad. But for the sake of web development, I'd like us to gear towards using a tool called VS Code. What exactly is VS Code? VS Code is a software that allows you to read and write code. VS Code is created by Microsoft, and VS Code is a very lightweight tool, and it contains literally everything you need to know about the web design. You could write CSS, HTML, JavaScript. You could configure extensions in your VS Code. You could customize it to look exactly the way you like, and you could also deploy your application locally and a host of other things. Apart from that, you need to have set up a GitHub account. As parts of this course, bonus part of this course is you'll be learning how to set up a Git account, and you learn how to set up your Git repository and develop your applications with your Git repository. In order to add some context to Git, Git is a software that allows you to store your code and also collaborate with your code incrementally. And what does this mean, or what does this give? Now, GitHub allows you to store your code in such a manner that it is trackable and it is manageable. One, you don't make mistakes. Two, you don't get too clumsy with writing code. Now, if you have multiple features or you have multiple designs or tasks you need to do, GitHub allows you to break down these tasks into commits, into branches in such a way that you could incrementally push your code and you could roll back whenever you make a mistake. This makes it very easy for you to practically write code without being afraid that something could go wrong. Apart from that, GitHub has so many other features. It allows you to deploy your application pretty fast, because since it houses your code, it also links with a hosting provider that allows you to publish your code to a web server with the click of a button. With that being said, let's dive right into setting up your computer to having the necessary applications and setups for you to start writing HTML code.